Why is regulatory analysis so fraught with errors and inefficiencies? It's because we're relying on human interpretation of complex text, which varies from person to person. Today, I'll show you how AnalyzeProvisions revolutionizes compliance by turning subjective review into objective, actionable data. To understand the context, let's look at the compliance industry. Regulations are increasing in number and complexity. At quarantadue.ai, every MCP workflow starts from the real tool interface, not from a generic prompt. The goal is simple. Keep the expert in control while the system structures the evidence. Inputs, reasoning, and outputs stay connected in one reviewable flow. Now the results become easier to compare, easier to review, and easier to explain. Professionals must sift through hundreds of pages of legal text to identify what applies to their organization. They use ad hoc methods like highlighting and spreadsheets, but these lack structure. Generic tools fail because they can't capture the nuances of regulatory language. The real challenges include inconsistent interpretation, missed deadlines, and the inability to prioritize effectively. This leads to compliance gaps and potential penalties. Now, the technical method. AnalyzeProvisions is built on a scientific approach to text analysis. We employ natural language processing techniques specifically trained on regulatory corpora. This allows us to parse sentences and identify obligation phrases such as shall, must, or required. We go beyond syntax to semantics, assessing the clarity of each provision using metrics like sentence complexity and term definitions. We also estimate implementation effort by correlating with similar historical obligations. Key concepts here are obligation density, which measures how many requirements are in a text, and risk scoring, which factors in regulatory severity. A common misconception is that compliance software just flags keywords. Actually, AnalyzeProvisions provides a holistic analysis that considers context, intent, and operational impact. Moving to the software solution, AnalyzeProvisions starts by ingesting regulatory documents, PDFs, Word files, or even web pages. It segments the text into provisions and applies our analysis engine. Each provision is scored for clarity, obligation strength, and estimated effort. We establish baselines by mapping these to your existing control frameworks. The calculations are transparent, with algorithms that adjust for industry-specific factors. Audit trails are automatically created, documenting every step of the analysis for compliance purposes. Scenario modeling is a powerful feature. You can simulate changes in regulations or your internal processes to see how they affect your compliance posture. Let me walk you through a hypothetical example. Consider a financial institution facing a new anti-money laundering regulation with 100 provisions. Using AnalyzeProvisions, the compliance team uploads the regulation. The tool identifies that 20 provisions have high obligation strength and low clarity, indicating high risk. It estimates that implementing these would require 200 hours of work. By prioritizing these, the team can allocate resources efficiently, potentially saving weeks of manual analysis. The output includes a detailed report with heat maps and prioritization matrices. For compliance and reporting, AnalyzeProvisions generates comprehensive reports that are both technical and accessible. They include executive summaries for leadership, detailed breakdowns for operational teams, and audit-ready documentation. The reports align with standards like ISO 19600, making it easy to integrate into existing compliance management systems. Stakeholders can quickly understand the implications and make informed decisions. In closing, AnalyzeProvisions transforms regulatory analysis from a manual chore to a data-driven process. It enhances accuracy, reduces time, and mitigates risk. To see how it can benefit your organization,